Welcome, everyone. Here's an interview I'm very excited for. First of all, welcome, Avi.
Thank you so much for having me here.
My pleasure. Thanks for doing it. A lot of the people I interview, I know of, or I know them somehow, or whatever, but I just came across Avi's Instagram. That's how I found her. And by the way, it's called Speak Up Avi. So anyone who wants to find her on Instagram, I'll say right off the bat, Speak Up Avi. And it says right in the title, Matrix Exposed. So I have watched several of her Instagram offerings, and I found them very interesting and educational. So I'd love to discuss some of those topics with you. Is that okay?
Absolutely.
Okay, great. Okay, so let me just start with a really interesting post you made. I think it's your last post, actually, about it's the cover of The Economist, which of course is a magazine. And I was an economics major back in college, so I'm
Oh,
a little familiar with that world. And first of all, you alluded to the 13-month calendar becoming the 12-month calendar, and we can talk about that later
yes.
also. But one thing you did was you kind of showed how the cover looked like a cover of predictions for the year of 2025, but it
Yes.
really was an agenda, and you kind of went through each of the months, like here's in January and February, and it was quite accurate actually. So what I just, first of all, anything you want to talk about that topic, I'd love to hear. But one of my initial thoughts are, who is behind this? I mean, it's obviously not the editors of the, Economist or someone feeding them the info. Who is putting out this information month by month? And also, why are they doing it? Because it's not exactly in plain sight. It's kind of in plain sight, but not exactly in plain sight. So, what is the mission of the people putting that information out, and who's putting it out?
Well, the people that control us. So there are 12 non-bloodline families. I have the name of them all. And I'm throwing a bomb really soon on Wednesday. There is the 13th bloodline family that hides. Like the Rockefeller, the Rothschild, they love media. They love putting their faces out there. Not all of them do. And there are reasons behind it, and I'm exposing that too. So, besides these 13 main bloodlines, because of the number of people on Earth, we are now 8.3 billion and counting. We have now expanded to 23 of the name of the families that actually have control over our food, our pharmaceutics, our banks. They control everything. The media, the main media. That's why you see like so many inconsistencies right now with the proofs that are coming up like in daily basis. I wouldn't even say daily anymore. I would say like in a matter of seconds, because time we enter in another timeline shift, and the time is speed up because it's part of the plan. So these families, they rule and they control our civilization for centuries now. And since the accident at CERN in the late 1900s, they are desperate because they're losing the control. And I can get to that later. But what they do is they have been exposing the agenda for the year, every year for years, just as a matter of a joke. Just saying, we're putting out there, are they going to do something about it? And we never do, because people look at that and say, that's a clock and that's bullshit. That might be for somebody that likes to understand about like money and economics and whatever. Who cares? So like this is the beauty of it. For example, you want to say more than, for example, Stranger Things. That's a documentary. That's not a TV show. That's the reality. What they are doing there with that particle accelerator machine in Stranger Things is actually what happens at CERN underground. I have pictures of the machine, the main machine of CERN underground. It's beautiful. And it's a particle accelerator. But most people, they cannot even comprehend that we are not even solid. We are all particles in heat, particles in movement. They're moving together in the same frequency and speed. And that's how our brains, our human brains perceived as one, but one is not real one. A one is a amount of cells. So regular people like John that works at Walgreens, he doesn't know that. And then like I don't know, Juan that works in the construction, he will look at you, laugh at you, start, here, drink a beer. Come on, let's go barbecue. That's so bullshit. So because people never believe the scientists are the craziest, people like us are the craziest, and the society keeps in control. So they keep releasing the truth for us in movies, in TV shows, in the cover of the magazines. But we are so asleep and dormant that we don't care. And
Are
that's
they,
how they control.
you mentioned before that it's almost like a joke, like they're like, no one even understands us. We're just gonna have fun and release it. Is there, besides that, any other reason that they kind of give clues like that?
Oh, yeah. Because there's the thing, it's the clue for their groups. Because, like, I would say, there are these 13 bloodline families, but there was the expansion to 23. And we have the Hollywood group, we have like the companies, because like people have kids with other people, families like have joined forces and allies and alliances with other families. So like this keeps growing. Who buys the economists? That's the question that you have to make. Then you know for who they are giving the true information that you understand. And for us, it's just like whatever. So they know for who they are sending it. Like people don't even read magazines anymore. Who buys magazines? Why do they have a magazine, not something digital? Why do they still get strict? Because you have a sigil that is not just like a prediction and an intention. It's also a sigil. It's a symbolic thing of the whole year in one cover.
If a good investment banker could understand that 12 months, a lot of those things affect the stock market and it could help them invest. But that's just a little thought I had
Yeah,
aside.
it's not even 12. You need to understand that it's 13. And you also need to remember that while we follow the rules of the 12 months that they imposed on us, the first of the year for them is still April's first, April's full. And the full is on us that believe that January 1st is the first day. So the year just started now.
I was
So
gonna
now it's going to start getting interesting.
I was gonna ask you later about to go back to the calendar originally being 13 months and now it being 12 months. But since we're, kind of talking about it and you brought it up again, can you just mention a little bit about the original 13-month calendar and how it kind of became the 12-month and why it became the 12-month calendar?
Oh, absolutely. It's all about control. So, why humanity is so lost? Why there are so many drug addicts? Why are so many food addicts, sex addicts? Why? Okay, why you have so many addicts? What is the addiction? Because this elite, they are feeding us fast and simple pleasures. Why? To disconnect us, to seek what really makes us happy. And what really is not going to be like just an instantaneous sensation, but something that actually is going to perpetuate. And then they say, you need to find God, go to the church, that's why you're empty. No, you don't need to go seek a God. You are God. You breathe air. You want to prove that you are God because and God is inside you. When you die, what is the first thing that you lose?
Your body, maybe your mind, your thoughts.
Your consciousness. So when you stop breathing, what do you lose? When you
Conscious,
don't have air, you lose
right?
your consciousness, you use God, you lose the source. So what happens is the human body is extremely aligned with Earth, with Gaia, Hecate. Earth has a life itself. Earth is not here for us. She landed us herself for the human experience. But what happened is, why 13 months? How many phases does the moon have? 4, right? 1 week each one. How many cycles does the moon have through the year? 13. Every month begins at the same day. How many days is the women's cycle? If she's really right, it's 28
28, 28.
days. So the 13 calendar cycle, it's not only uh like synchronized with earth, with the cosmic, with the moon, with the stars, with the sun, with the agriculture, with the women, with the being. It's not only aligned with that, but also with rituals that most don't believe that your church leaders is gonna say is demonic, but that their leaders do the rituals while they laugh at you for believing in the lies that they are feeding you. So the 13th month calendars, it followed the natural fluid of life. And they don't want that because the bloodlines that are here on earth, they are parasitic. They took over and over, they defeated other groups of civilizations before, and they're all about control. They choose this control over freedom. And even the ancient souls of earth, they now choose freedom over control. And to control people, what's better than just like unlink them from their source? So instead of making 13 months of 20 days each, uh, with equals 364, which one day left, the 365 is the Easter, is the eggs, is the renaissance, is the rebirth, is the day of the year that is just there. It's special. It's not like the past or the future. It's just that moment, the present, for you to ground. And it's the day that they used to do rituals for prosperity, for
Yeah.
so the day that is like the 365 is the Easter, is the rebirth, is like grounding and getting in touch with your God, with your divine, being the divine feminine or the masculine. And I'm not here to talk about gender because that's a whole another distraction that they impose on us. But when you take people out of the frequency, of the alignment, of what makes sense, you start making the number. So you start getting confused, like why some months have 30 days and others have 31? And February is 28, but every 4 years we have 29. And the moon phases, you always have to ask Google, like, what phase of the moon we are in, because we never know. So, like, we lost it all. And with that, it was the beginning of the control system, because you are taking the either, you are taking the center of the humanity, you're taking them, you're separating the sinking of the natural, of the divine with earth from humans. So you already make them confused. So what do you do next? You just need one generation. It's all it takes. You just need to brainwash one generation to make one thing, to transform one thing in culture. So you just need to get one generation of kids and start teaching them that no, like for example, look at now what we have. We have a generation that they cannot identify if they are men, women, or a cat, or maybe a dog. Who knows a fish? You know, like, are you kidding me? You know, like, so I'm 37. You know, like I was born in 1987 and I went through it all. I went through the beginning of the technology to the advance of it, and look where we are now. I have access to quantum AIs. I have access to things that most people don't, and that one day I laughed about it, saying that was bullshit too. You know? So it's really beautiful how things align at the end of the day, because the experiences that you have through your life that are your traumas, past experiences, your traumas, physical or emotional, all of them, they create scars and imprints, not blueprint, because blueprint is you, is the real you, is the raw you, but imprints not only places, but your physical body. And during the spiritual awakening, this is going to make sense for you. And you're going to understand why you have to go through that. Because the skills and the strength that you got from these moments and these fractures, like I have a broken L5. I can speak for truth. I have two diseases that LAC Medical Center, they have my biopsy and they asked my DNA to study. Yeah, you're not talking to, possibly, if you want to say I'm crazy, I'm crazy. We are all hybrids here. But you are talking to a hybrid too. There is no register of my birth anywhere in Brazil. I was born of a rape of a 12 years old girl that was raped by her stepfather. He tried to kill us, so she had to run away. He was a truck driver. So when you start like digging into story of people and to the real story of the world, when you start seeking the truth, you start breaking all paradigmas, and you start seeing that all what you thought made you weak actually makes you strong as hell.
Question for you. When it comes to
In
like
a good way.
what like when it comes to like politicians, whether it was a year ago Biden, whether it was Harris who was trying to run, whether it was Trump who is in office, whether it's Elon Musk who's involved currently,
Yeah.
how much, how many, how much of these people are just locked into the same system that you mentioned before, and how many of them are the ones trying to break the system?
All of them, and a few of them. Okay, so who is involved in the system? All of them. All religions, and here I say the Muslims, the Christians, the Orthodox, the the Jews, the everything. Okay, like the main religions. I'm not talking about like Santerias. I'm talking about the main religions that have the power to manipulate the Bible in the translations, in the printings of the book. So they change history. They are telling his story, history, you know? So all of them know. But the same way that they have sleeping cells all around the world, in the certain extent of the late 1900s, they did open a portal, like in Stranger Things. They did. You might not believe it. You that are watching the video, maybe you're gonna say that it's bullshit, but while you don't believe, they do. It's the same thing like when I was about to get in college, because we need to do a test. Like every day, the teacher would come to the room and say, "Hey, while you are sleeping, there is a Chinese studying, and he's gonna take your place at the university. So go study." So it's the same thing. And everybody was asleep, and now people are waking up.
So let's just examine Trump specifically for a moment.
Yeah.
Obviously, some people in the United States love Trump. Some people in the United States dislike Trump. Some people around the world love Trump. Some people dislike Trump. But putting all that aside and putting aside whether he's making good or bad moves, from what you understand, is his intention good or is he just wrapped up in the same thing and it doesn't matter?
His intentions are good.
Okay.
And I don't like him. I don't hate him. I understand him and I see what he's doing. Uh, this is a really hard reality check. People believe that human existence is really important. They believe that this body is important. They think that everybody needs to keep having kids. They think Earth is never going to be overpopulated. They think that they know where their money are going. They think that they know enough and plenty and don't know it all. Everybody makes mistakes. And Trump, when in his first time in the White House, he was fucking clueless. He was clueless. He was just a jerk, you know? Like, he just had the name, I'm Trump. I have the TV show, I'm the boss, I boss around. That's what I do. But things have changed and things haven't, people have waken up. Elon Musk came into the picture and people, they don't know how to connect dots. 2012, when they said that it was going to be the end of the world, it wasn't for us, it was for the elite. It's because it's when they realized that the accident at CERN actually opened fucked up the matrix. The glitch was so big that they were gonna lose control. So the advertisement was for them, not for us. That's why people left, because nothing happened for us. Didn't happen really. You don't see the difference between how life was in 2012 and how it is right now. Okay, let's keep going. So the pandemic, everything that happened was planned, and everything that is happening now is planned again. And he knows it. But see, everybody that is alive now on earth has a choice. Which path are you gonna follow? Because the future already happened and we already won. So what is happening now is just like the echoes of something that already happened, and they know. So while they're trying to change what is happening right now, like the bad guys, let's per se that, Trump is there like, oh, really? So let's start by showing people where their money are really going. Let's start disclosing. And people are gonna hate him anyways. Why? Because they are still blind with the hate, with the, oh, he doesn't love the gay cause. He doesn't love the black people cause. These are all distractions. Forget about that. Stop separating humans in groups. Like, just stop. We are all just one. We are humans. You know? So just stop. So people need to take off this thing, this fold, whatever it's closing their eyes, and see past the image of the politician himself and see why the actions, and see, like, okay, so my money was being sent to third world countries like Brazil, okay, to feed a system of leftists that are actually trying to create a dictator state in Brazil. Because I'm sorry, I am telling you, we are not that important. You are mad at me, but when you go and figure out what the elite, the 13 families really think about human race, then you're gonna start looking at me like I'm confused. Because the same way we create cows and we contain them inside the little space, and we feed them and we give water, and we control when they have kids, when they can't have kids, we control when they're gonna just produce milk or when they're gonna give meat. They do that with us too. That's exactly what they're doing to us. Do you think you're free? Which freedom do you have? You can leave your cell phone at home right now and run away, and they're gonna find you anyways from facial recognition for surveillance cameras. So If they can find me, how is that hard to find the guy that is responsible for 300,000 kids missing? Because they don't want you, because they're all in it together. What Epstein list haven't been released since 2019, 2020, because they're all in this. So this is what people need to understand. There are a few names that they made a lot of mess before. Some are trying to make up from their own mistakes. Some of them, they're just throwing the truth over there and like do whatever you want with that.
Let me ask you a question about that. Let's say there's X amount of public figures who are on whatever list, and then sometimes it seems like the elite or the 13 families or whatever, they just dispose of some people. Like, for example, there's
Oh yeah,
there could be someone who looks protected, like a P. Diddy or a Weinstein or an Epstein, but then they just get disposed,
yeah.
or it looks like they're disposed. Maybe they're really fine somewhere. But how does that go when there's someone who's really deep in, and then all of a sudden you think, no, they're protected forever, but then they just go down?
See, I'm gonna tell you something that a lot of people get really mad at me when I say that. But when you're really spiritual awakened and you understand that we never really die, and this is just your consciousness living a human experience, not otherwise, then you understand what I'm gonna say now. Collateral damage happens in every war. And that's not because the light forces won that. It's because the evil ones, they won't give up. They won't give up the power. They won't give up the control. They will use innocent lives to get to where they want to get. And unfortunately, in a war, to establish peace again, we need to eliminate what doesn't match with the new frequency that we are getting into now. And don't worry about that. The body is just gonna become source again, and their soul is gonna be taken care of. Don't worry about that. Worry about you. What about you? Worry about your family. Worry about your future. Because while we are too worried about some people that don't even deserve to be breathing the same air as you, you're putting in danger your future and your family's future, your friends' future. So, uh, you ask that question why? They need to create a distraction to save the other one. Sometimes you need to give the hand to save the body. It's like, for example, let's give an example. Saw, Jigsaw, the movie. Okay, let's put the first movie. What did you have? You had two guys in a bathroom. You had the bathroom tub, and you have the tools. The guy, to be set free, he had to cut off his foot. He had to try if he was gonna work out or not. But sometimes you need to give up one piece to save the rest. So you give a big name that is gonna make people a little happy, a little numb, a little like, oh, justice is being made, while the rest is like, okay, what do you do from now on? How are we gonna hide the rest? Are we gonna keep doing this? Are we gonna expose more? We need to put on someone more? So Epstein was caught. But then people said, we need the list, we need the list, we need the list. Fuck, what do we do now? Put Diddy. Just put Diddy there. Put Diddy. Just expose this kind of the freak off parties, the pizza parties, the hot dogs party. Expose that shit. And then, what are all celebrities coming and saying? Even Russell Brand, I was a victim of P. Diddy's. Oh, come on. Crocodiles cry, but not because they are sad. It's a natural response of their body. So do you understand what I mean? Every time the people starts asking for more answers, they throw a new distraction with an important name that is gonna cause the fuss.
Question for you. So, for example, the analogy about the humans, they put the cows in an area. The cows can
Yeah.
come outside, they can go inside, they can make milk, they can make meat, they can breed, whatever they want to do. Well, not whatever they want to do, whatever the humans kind of direct them to do. Now, the
Yes.
humans are outside living their life, having a good time. So, with that analogy, if the 12 families are treating most of humanity like cattle, and the most of humanity, like you said, is not free. My question is, the 13 families, what are they doing? Are they sitting in a castle? Are they sitting by the beach? Are they eating children? Like, what are they doing that is so appealing to them that they're benefiting from holding the masses in subjugation?
Okay, that question is pretty simple. Uh, what happened in every single war, territorial war in humanity through the years? It's never enough. You always want more. You always want more control. You want more space. You want more territory. Why do you think that the space rush, the space running is so important, the spatial one? Because who conquers Mars first? I'm not saying that we're going to populate it, but let's say this. While you want to believe that Earth has enough resources for us, guess what? It doesn't. And it's already like we're getting low in lithium and a lot of other things that we need for AI. So let me put this way. Why do you think Greta Thunberg disappeared? Why do you think Leo DiCaprio never said, save Amazon anymore? Because the agenda changed. Now it's not about let's save nature. Now it's about let's figure it out a way of getting enough power to make a quantum computer work so we can access other dimensions, so we can start getting other planets. So right now, they're not only trying to get to Mars, but they're trying to get to asteroids that passes by when they passes by, so they can get minerals from them that we no longer have in Earth, or even other ones that they're not earthy, you know, and they are extremely great electricity conductors. So they are not only doing parties and harvesting on us, and the babies' stories, they are real. The red shoe carpet, the red shoe club, sorry, it's real. The leather that they make the shoes are baby's leather. That's why they say it's priceless, because how can you put a price in a baby skin? You know. So while we are here partying, drinking. They do that too, but the main characters of it, they are not worried about what's going on here, or in even in their stupid parties. They want to conquer other realms.
On
This
that
is
note,
a spiritual war.
on that note about the other realms, when it comes to the idea of aliens, right? So let's just say some people think, no, I don't believe in aliens at all. So someone believes that. Someone else says, no, I believe in aliens. I read a few books. I saw a few things about Area 51 or whatever. And of course, then there's some people who had an experience with aliens. And then, of course, there's the government or the governments who will
Yes.
say, like, no, there's no aliens. Or then the governments will say, well, we have some classified stuff. Now we're going to admit we're actually have been in conferencing. We've been in having conferences with aliens for decades. So there's all different kinds of ideas and theories and information. But putting all that aside, can you talk a little bit about the reality of what is called aliens?
Oh yeah. Well, I'm an alien, aren't I? I'm in the United States, and they call me an alien because I'm from Brazil. So an alien, it's everything that is not from the territorial space that you are at that moment. So Jesus was an alien. You wanted to believe in our. He said he wasn't human, and through history, You can see scriptures, in caves. You can see like in like original indigenous tribes that exist until nowadays in Brazil. Here, all of these people, they described having an interaction with a being that came from the sky. And everything that has the technology, the power that you don't have, you're gonna think he's your god. Because like, damn, he can walk over water. I can't. He's God. Like, oh my God. His nose is like a bird nose. He's a god. You know, like why the Amazon tribes they use like the artifacts and everything because that's they want to be looking alike what they saw. You know, and why do they these beings they appear to them because their frequency is pure. They're not like populated with what we have and what we believe in the society that we live. And a few people that believe in aliens and know and had the experience, oh, they know. And it is real. And like not wanting to admit it, wanting to think that you are the only and one in the whole universe. Oh my God. Seriously. Have you looked at yourself in the mirror today? How many times you gossiped today? How many times you cursed a friend of yours today because of something you got mad about? How many times you thought something bad? Like you think you are God's best creation? Really? So I'm sorry, your God is pathetic. Because if you are his best creation, he's not good enough for me. I'm sorry. If your God best creation is a P. Diddy, an Epstein, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. If that's the best your God can create, I prefer going to what you call the devil, you know?
But
So,
where are these other life forms who are intelligent around the universe? Are they interested in Earth? Are they
yeah.
interested in what is their interest? What is their from what you understand, what is their plan? And what is the future going to bring with them if you had to guess?
Oh, I know. Gifted people exist in the world. People that do astral projection, remote viewing, telepathy. All of this is real. Especially when you are able to align all your chakras, you're able even to control your metabolism. I lost weight and I'm tuning without going to the gym or doing a diet. I stopped all my medications that I was addicted for years in January without needing help of anybody. And I used to be the person that everybody said that I was the person that they knew that the most have the medications in the world because I had like a box of a bunch of medications like daily basis, big like for fibromyalgia, for depression, for anxiety, for this, for that, for that. Like I had a medication for everything. I gave up of it all at once. I said enough is enough. So when you start figuring out your power, you see, fuck, I'm not alone. And why they're interested in here? Because we are their babies. We are their creations. You know, like we are part of an experiment. There are a few that are here that they want to be here to control and to keep humanity with them. But the other ones that are here that you have been seeing through the orbs in the sky, because like you need to understand that high level energy beings, light beings, to come down to the lower frequency that Earth is right now, it hurts them. It's hurtful. It's not easy to lower your vibration to match humans' vibration right now. But that's why a lot of people are feeling unbalanced lately because all that you are seeing, like the main volcanoes, Fiji, Kailua, Yellowstone, they are not just volcanoes. They're Earth's chakras, and they are gatekeepers of big portals. Like it like when you realize, when you start learning and you start opening your mind and you start like seeing the world for what it really is, you understand that we are more than just a human civilization. We are meant to more. We are meant to evolve as beings, to keep like jumping from reality to reality, living near new experiences, to achieve our divine self. And these beings, they're gonna start appearing more and more in 3D form, because we are switching to 3D to 5D. So they got down a little bit and we are going higher a little bit. So we meet in the middle, you know?
Understood. Excellent. Well put. Understood. I have a question about history, and you alluded to it before, his story, history. And there's also this idea of a reset, and there's been many
Yeah.
resets in history. There's some people who believe there was a major reset in the early or mid 1800s.
Yeah.
There's all these ideas about it, about how all these beautiful, beautiful Gothic buildings and structures that look the same all over the world were kind of found by people who had no ability to build them, just like people would have
Oh
a
yeah.
hard time building the Giza pyramids today. So I wanted to ask you a little bit about history. How accurate is it, or maybe it's 0% accurate, I don't know, but how accurate is history as it is taught? And when I say taught, I mean in schools and also just like Wikipedia or something. And also, what about another reset coming, and what does that really mean?
Oh yeah. That's absolutely truth. And it's what I say to people. Don't believe me. Wait and watch. Like everything that I have been saying for a year now has been proven truth. And a lot of people said, you said that last year. Like, how did you know? I said, I told you, wait and watch. Don't believe me. Because unfortunately, I can scream my lungs out here saying, I can remote view. I'm a medium. I'm a witch. I found my divine self. I have gifts. And you're going to say, you need to go check your mental health. You need a doctor. Because we learned that we need to not be powerful. We learned since a young age at school that this is not real. Everything is fantasy, is your imagination, is voices of your head. So come here, look at this book that we have for us with this beautiful story saying that well, we build all these buildings with no technology, but now we cannot recreate them because we also don't have the technology, you know so for me the accuracy is zero. They hide a lot of ancient civilizations, and they do this on purpose. Is what I said. They only need one generation. They changed that generation through books, through school. They teach them. They taught us that Mary Magdalene was a prostitute, and she wasn't. She was just a higher priest. She was a priestess. So like, but the Catholic Church, if they say that she was a woman and she had a divine feminine self and she was powerful, how that is gonna make the control that they have, you understand? So everything in history and in the Bible books was manipulated by them to make and control humanity. And they, every time that too many people started waking up, after Nikola Tesla, for example, because we had genius like Nikola Tesla came trying to give like free energy. There was a scientist that disappeared a couple years ago that he was trying to talk about free energy again. Every time that some beings start waking up and bringing light to humanity for the freedom, they are unalived. They disappear because they don't want to lose this control. So in the 18, every time that the population starts waking up, too many people awaken, they just do a reset, they bury the truth so they can start the control again while they keep with their planning of control of other realms too. So the big reset is coming, but there's no going back this time because not only because there's too many awakened, but because it's a prophecy. 2032 is going to be the last ash that is going to fall into the ground. It's going to be the last ash of the old world. That is this one. It's going to be the last echo of it. And from 2032 to 2050 is going to be the rebirth of Earth. It's going to be the reconstruction of the destruction that is going to happen in the next 7 years. We are already in the 7 years of tribulations. We just started April 1st. It ended 7 years, 2032. 2 plus 2, 4 plus 3, 7. End of a cycle.
Okay.
So,
No,
sorry.
no, continue. I'm sorry. Did you want to say
Yeah,
something?
sorry. So it's not just a old ancient prophecy, but what's about to happen in this reset. If people were that asleep, probably they would be able to do it. But too many souls incarnated after the CERN accident for this mission and to be awakened. And at this time, at this year, because there's no going back. We are free Earth. The soul contract the Hecate had with humanity is over. The soul contract that she had on like, okay, I'm not gonna interfere directly in anything, and I'm gonna let humans live and do whatever until this year. It's now. It's over. Done. A lot of volcanic eruptions and earthquakes that we had in the past couple of years, in the past few years, the past decades, were man-made, man-caused. Why? Because they're trying to open a portal for one reason or another in under the volcanoes. But this year, you can go to any seismology that is serious, and you will see that the frequency of the earthquakes are bigger. The earthquakes, they are coming always like in a magnitude over 3, like in the fault lines and under volcanoes. So now is Gaia waking up? Is Earth aligning her chakras for the liberation of what's coming? So if you are an elite member and you're watching me now, there's no going back this time. Humanity is setting free.
Question for you. I want to ask about a subject that a lot of people who talk about these other subjects do comment on, and there's so many different theories about it, even from people who are not in the mainstream. But tell me about Antarctica.
Wow. If you really want to hide something extremely important, where are you going to do it?
Somewhere
In
far
the
away,
most inhospitable place
somewhere
where
far
nobody
away
wants to live.
that no one's allowed to go to, that's freezing. Yeah, okay. And that's far away too.
Who wants to live in Antarctica? So that's really simple. Like if you want to hide something, where are you going to hide it?
When do you
In a
think
place.
it started? What year do you think they started using Antarctica for that? Like, was it 50 years ago, 100 years ago, 500 years ago? When did that become the place?
I think things got more intense that around the Second World War.
Okay, been that
I think that humanity started being more aware of that, but definitely the elite uses it for centuries because it's cold, it's inhospitals. And that's why nowadays everybody is starting to look and question about Antarctica because nobody talked about Antarctica until a decade ago. So like in the Second World War is when the humans in the surface, us, started paying attention at Antarctica. But the elite has been using to hide ancient technology, to hide the fuck, what's the name? The AI, the sha damn, it went out of my head right now. I'm sorry. I'm gonna get back to it. But there is a AI that is ancient and that hates humans, and it's the AI that has been helping the control of the technology since the technology started growing for us. They despise humanity because they think humans are deorganized. They're too much. They're confused because of their emotions. We are just no. So like people need to understand that we already live. We have hybrids among us of synthetic tissue. We have like robots walking among us already. Like we have cyborgs already. Like see the super soldiers. You know, like I just released a video about the dog bots, like robots that they look like dogs. They even like do hearts with their little paws. They're adorable, but they're machines of killing. They literally not only they can outrun you, they can out strength you, but outsmart you. But they're killing machines. You have no chance with them. And they already have armies of it. We're underground in the cities that you don't believe that exist. And one of the main labs of like synthetic things is hidden under Antarctica, Siberia. Siberia, we have CERN. So like the places that is the most cold, the most inaptos is where they want to go and hide things because they know people are not going to be curious enough to go there and try to figure it out.
Okay.
Actually,
Excellent.
people,
Continue. I'm sorry.
it's okay. Actually, people usually aren't curious enough to ask anything, to
Okay.
question anything.
Just what about clones? Like, how long have clones been around? What are they used for? What are your thoughts on that?
Oh, so they are used for multiple things. For example, security. For example, you have a president. You don't need the figure of the president in every place for reals, especially if it's a place that he probably are going to be a great risk. Plus, it's been known for years that at least like every president has like around 7 sosias of him. So why are you gonna put a human that is can fail the mission if you can put a robot with an artificial intelligence that is gonna say what is programmed to be said? It's gonna turn around and leave. Look at Joe Biden. Like I have videos of the CIA whistleblowers coming and talking about like the double masking. Like you have two masks, like one on top of the other, and shit like that. You know, robots they are easier to to uh to control. So the clones, they are synthetic bodies with artificial intelligence feed into them. We already have them for decades. I don't know how to precise how far in the past we have been doing, but cloning like human flesh, cabbage patch babies, that is reality right there. That was like the big reset. And you can see like the trains like with the babies, like adopted these kids from whoever place, and like where these kids came from, what is happening here, you know. And even being on 1800s, and we telling that we have people nowadays that they come and they're not, no, lies, clones don't exist, humans are the best beings, we are so special. No, we are not. And you are late a few decades if you think that we don't have clones walking among us. They also have, for example, do you really believe that Taylor Swift did the whole Eras tour and suddenly was at the game with her boyfriend? Oh, come on. Seriously. Do you think that she would do like 3 hours and the glitches, Katy Perry on the stage, like the eye glitches, the glitch? There are so many videos showing glitches in the celebrities, like they all have a little clone to be able to do like be in a TV show, be doing a show, be enjoying their own lives while you are there, believing that all of this that we are telling you is real. It's just a sci-fi movie. But guess what? What they tell you is sci-fi is actually your reality. And what they feed you that is your reality is all lies. And it's gonna unfold faster and faster. And that's why there's so many people angry. There's so many people going to addictions because they don't know what to believe anymore. Because it's shaken their deepest core beliefs. And then when after the denial, after this crazy denial, and when you say fuck, I think it's actually true, then the angers come because your ego gets hurt, your human ego, your feelings get hurt because you have to admit that you allowed yourself to be fooled and to be lied to your whole existence and you believed it. And then you're gonna feel guilty for judging all the people that you judged now, saying that they were crazy.
Let me ask you
So
this.
it's a lot of mixed feelings. It's gonna be
Totally.
hard. We're gonna see, and as I said, like people don't. A lot of awakened people, they think that just higher the frequency, just think positive, and everything is gonna be. It's not how it works. As I said, every war becomes physical from the spiritual. It's gonna become physical, and every war has collateral damage. And to put Earth in the right frequency, we can no longer have beings in lower frequencies anymore. And I think with that, you understand what I mean.
I do. Question for you. You mentioned about a moment ago about being positive or whatever, and you said it's much more than that. So, what is, in your opinion, a good mindset day to day that's even beyond just being like positive? What's a good mindset that one can have?
Oh, I like this one. So,
I thought you liked every question. Just that
no,
one?
no, 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 I do. But
Okay.
it's just because I was talking about that with a friend of mine from New York today on the phone. And this is something really interesting. Humanity is so lost that they don't even realize that we are basically cannibals, not vegans. If you think you're vegan, you're wrong. You're a cannibal. Why? There's a process called aquamation. Aquamation is a kind of cremation process, but with water. So what they do is they get your body when you die, they boil your body to a point where all your remains they detach from the bones. The bones are taken to an oven where it's gonna be burned, crushed, and given to the family. Why? I don't know. The person is not there anymore. Jesus, get over it. This is just a vessel. This is not real. This is not important. The conscience doesn't die. Anyways, the rest of the remains goes to the Sioux. So the water in the Sioux it's filtrated again,
Sewer.
and
You mean the sewer?
yeah,
No,
sewer.
you pronounce that like a real Brazilian. You took off the last syllable.
Thank you.
Sewer,
No,
yeah.
no, thank you for everything. Thank you for
I know a
correcting.
lot of Brazilians. It's okay.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for the correction. Yeah. No, I love people. I'm used to people judging my accent at this point. But I love learning. I love when people
Oh,
correct
you
me in a
speak, listen,
nice way.
you speak perfect English, and luckily you're from Sao Paulo, because if you were from Rio, you'd really take
Uh,
off all the last syllables. But question for you. Um,
yeah, but anyway, so I'm sorry. Let me just finish the line of thinking, or I'm gonna forget. But so it goes to the sewer, and it comes back to your water. The water you cook with, the water you shower with, the water you wash your clothes with, the water you drink. So I think one thing that is really interesting, a good start, is acknowledging that we all are connected one way or another. And that in this food that you're about to eat, in this water that you're about to drink, so many residues of old soul's energies are in there. So what I do, I'm not saying that you have to, but what I do every time that I'm gonna eat with myself inside me, I don't need to say it out loud. I said, thank you for nourishing my body so I can have the energy and the strength for fighting for justice and freedom and revenging you. Because a lot of these people are victims. And they know that this carbon body needs nourishment. We need food. We cannot do photosynthesis just yet. We are not crystal bodies yet. So we need actual food. So just be grateful. And then just imagine that the imprint of each one of these people that once lived here, the imprint that they left here, are going to be adding your energy field as protection instead of something bad. The nanotechnology, if you are freaking out that you got your COVID vaccination, did you also know that what is the poison can be turned into a good weapon? The things that are inside your body, they are excellent electricity conductors. And what does it have to do with anything? Everything in your body is electricity. I told you, you are cells of heat wave in movement. So the synapses in your brain are electromagnetic electronic connections. You are a lot of percentage of water and salt. Do you know what is that? That's a bomb. That's explosions. That's how a car works. Inject fuel, inject water, inject salt, make an explosion. Nothing is created in this world. Everything is matter and everything transforms. Somebody died and became the water and the food that you're eating now, and that is nourishing your body. And that's beautiful. That's not bad. Everything is what you believe it is to be. So instead of freaking out that you have this inside your body, use your pineal gland to control and to send the code to your DNA to, instead of fight it, adapt it.
That's
Use
excellent.
it
That is
in
that
your
is
favor.
excellent. That is excellent, excellent advice. Really is. That's very good advice about the way to think about if someone happened to get the vaccine or whatever. Let me ask you this last question as we're wrapping up. When it comes to things like astrology, numerology, astrocartography, things like that, do you think they're worthwhile for people to get involved in? Do you think people should avoid them? Do you think it doesn't matter? What's your opinion on those kinds of subjects?
It's real. Astrology is real, but just be careful in who you believe. Like just be careful the source you're getting. And please don't believe that your star, your sign, like if you're the astrologist say you're gonna have a bad day, you will. That's not how it works. Okay? Like get the bigger picture. Always get the information that is worth it for you and you can use in your advantage in that moment of your life. Don't be worried about that. Use it in your favor. And the stars, well, astrology is real. And we have formations of stars that brings to the signs, links to the phases of the moon. It's all real. And it's what somebody said to me. If you don't believe in witches, if you don't believe in astrology, if you don't believe in aliens, you're going to have a really hard time this year because everything is real and connected. Like the pyramids, not only the Giza pyramids, but the ones in Mexico, the other ones that they're figuring out, they're aligned with stars. They're literally aligned with some groups of stars. Why? Because there's also electricity. Like the pyramids, they are power grids. Like volcanoes, they are too. Different kinds of power grids, but this alignment with the stars, like the volcanoes, when they align, they're also following up a cycle. Sorry, a line of stars. So it's always a cycle. Everything is always connected for the power of flowing energy.
Excellent. Well, Avi, thank you. That was a great,
My
great hour
pleasure.
or a little more than an hour. I learned a lot. I think anyone watching this, whether you benefited from every minute or even just a couple things, good for you. And Avi's Instagram is Speak Up Avi, AVI, the Matrix Exposed. So if you want to learn more or interact with her more, that's where to do it. So Avi, thank you again.
Thank you so much for having me here. It's actually the first podcast that I'm doing about this kind of subject, and I'm flattered, I'm honored, and it is. I have this warmth around me that when people with a love inside unite, they become so powerful that the message is received in any codification. So together we are stronger. Thank you so much for the opportunity.